Hello, in this video, I'm going to share with you some valuable content all about property investment in the UK. So my name is Simon Zutshi. I'm the author of Property Magic, the Amazon #1 property bestseller. I've been investing in property since 1995, and I'm the founder of the Property Investors Network, which has 50 network meetings all over the UK. Now let me tell you why I believe investing in the UK is such a great place to invest. First of all, we live on an island. That means there's a limited supply of accommodation, but there's an ever-increasing population. The population is increasing due to increasing birth rate, longer life expectancy, and obviously immigration. Now, obviously with Brexit, there's a good chance we may not get as much immigration into the UK as has happened in the past. But even if not a single person came to live in the UK, the population would still grow for the other reasons I've mentioned. So with a growing population and a limited supply of accommodation, what that means is the long-term trend for property prices and rental values is up. This is also a very safe place to invest. You know, we're protected by law. You can own the freehold of the property, which means you own the property, the air above it, the land below it, and no one can really take that away from you. So it's also a very safe place to invest. Also, banks are very happy to lend you money to invest in property. Now, typically you have to put down a deposit. If you're getting a buy-to-let mortgage, which is a special mortgage you get when you buy an investment property, most banks will want you to put about a 25% deposit in, and then you borrow 75% from the bank. Now, this is where many people struggle, because they feel, I've only got a certain number of 25% deposits, I might only be able to buy 1 or 2 or 3 houses. Well, actually, there are many creative ways of investing in the UK where you don't actually have to use much of your own money. You can use other people's money, and there are certain strategies you can use, such as purchase lease options and rent to rent, where you don't actually buy the property, but you can get cash flow from a property asset you don't actually own. Now, many of these strategies I explain on other videos on this channel. So if you want to get access to those, I suggest you subscribe to the channel, and obviously as the videos come out, you'll be notified about that. But let's get back to investing in the UK. Now, the great thing about the UK is there are many major cities, and when you're buying property, I think it's good to buy property in an area where you have an increasing population. Now, what causes an increase in population? Well, if there are jobs being created, if there are hospitals and universities being extended and growing, those all attract people into the area. Those people need accommodation. And so if you can buy and invest in areas where you have the population increasing at a faster rate than other areas, you should have higher demand for those rental properties, and you should get higher capital appreciation than other areas of the country. When you invest in property, you need to understand the market is going to be cyclical. Prices don't always go up. They go up and they come down. And sometimes people think when prices come down, they've lost money. Well, that's not actually the case. You only lose money if you buy high and have to sell low. If you don't sell, you've not actually lost any money. And as long as you can afford to hold the property while prices recover, you're not losing anything at all. So if you're investing in property, there are 5 golden rules you need to follow. I do talk about them in my book, Property Magic. Let me give you a very quick overview of those. The first thing is you want to buy from what we call motivated sellers. These are people for whom the speed and certainty of a sale is more important than the amount of money they get. What that means for you is you can buy at a lower price and get flexibility on the terms, such they might agree to things like purchase lease options and exchange delay completion. Golden rule number 2 is you only ever want to buy in an area with strong rental demand. It's really important if the current tenants move out, you want to make sure there are other tenants who are happy to move into the property and rent the property at a fair market rent. If you don't have tenants, that's called a void period, which means you have to cover the mortgage and all the costs. So it's really important to only buy in areas with strong rental demand. That's linked to rule number 3, which is we only ever buy a property that gives you positive cash flow. What this means is at the end of the month, when you bring all the rent in, you take off the mortgage, the insurance, the management, the maintenance, and anything else you've got to pay, there should be some money left over, some profit available for you. Now, you have to pay tax on your profit, but that's no different to if you have a normal business, make a profit, you've got to pay tax. If you have a job, you've got to pay tax on that. So paying tax is something we all have to do. It's no different for property investors. In fact, if you're paying tax, it's a sign you're making money. Rule number 4 is we want to hold property for the long term. As I said, prices go up and down. If you try and judge the market, you probably won't get it right. If you're holding for long term, that's where you create the real wealth. They do say in the UK, every 10 years, property prices double. And that's not actually strictly correct. The average over about 60 years is every 10 years, prices have doubled, but it's an average. It doesn't happen every 10 years. And sometimes it's happened in 5 or 6 years. Sometimes it might take 15, 20 years, depending on where you are in the market. Again, trying to judge the market is not always the best thing to do because you might not get it right. To hold for the long term, and it evens out those mistakes as long as you're making cash flow. And then golden rule number 5 is you want to have a cash buffer. Some money put aside, it could be on a credit card, it could be money in a bank, to cover any unexpected things that aren't covered by insurance. If you have some bad tenants and the property's damaged and you don't have insurance for that, you can get it fixed and get it rented really quickly to get cash flow coming into you again. So follow the 5 golden rules. It will minimize the risk and maximize your return. I believe the UK is a great place to invest. If you're actually from overseas, whether you're a foreign national wanting to invest in the UK, you can do that. If you're an expat living overseas, you want to invest in the UK, again, you can do that. I'd suggest you tap into local people who can help you. You want to get some local knowledge, and you can build a power team that can help you become a more successful investor. So I'd encourage you to invest with knowledge, invest with skill. If you like this video, please like it, please comment, and maybe subscribe to the channel so we can share a lot more valuable information with you. My name is Simon Zutshi. I look forward to seeing you soon.